In terms of the Labour Relations Act, all trade unions must be registered with the Department of Labour before they are allowed to operate in the country. Once registered, trade unions rely on fees they collect from their members every month to fund their operations. Now, the Department of Labour's Registrar of Trade Unions says his office comes across many cases of abuse of funds by union leaders, which he finds disturbing.
To be frank with you, we are not happy. We're not happy. And we had, on numerous occasions in the media, directly to those particular unions that are affected, raised the issue of our unhappiness with how the funds of unions are being used. So it is something that we are clear on. We are not happy with that.
By law, trade unions are supposed to submit audited membership figures and financial statements to the Department of Labour's Registrar of Trade Unions periodically. Union members are also required to gather and elect new leaders on a regular basis. But now, that is proving to be a challenge for many unions because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
With the regulations that we have under the Disaster Management Act and the pronouncements of the president of the country, it does have an impact on how trade unions convene those particular congresses.
Failure to comply with the regulations can lead to a union being deregistered by the Department of Labour. 110 trade unions have been deregistered in the last decade.
We need to communicate to unions, and it's not only about unions, it's also about your employers' organizations. That compliance is a very serious matter that we need to take seriously.
COSATU says it and its affiliates are doing their best to comply with the registration requirements under the current circumstances.
The Federation itself has been forced to postpone some of its provincial congresses because of the lockdown regulations. At the same time, we are trying to adjust. For an example, next month the Federation will have a mini congress, which is a central committee, where we will proceed to convene the meeting virtually, of course, to avoid the event becoming a super spreader, but also ensuring that we comply with our constitutional obligations. The reality is that we have not faced something of this magnitude, and the labor movement is trying to adjust, but it has been a huge inconvenience. The postponement of congresses is really a big problem.
Millions of workers have been retrenched since the outbreak of COVID last year. Many more continue to join the ranks of the unemployed. Despite this, the Registrar of Trade Unions says his office is still processing around 60 applications for the registration of new trade unions a month. Mbongeni Muchwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.